There's been a lot of speculation today that Declan Rice is any moment now going to be announced and unveiled as the new Manchester City player. I am here to tell you that as of this very moment, is not the case. Everything I think is still very much up in the air, and I want you all to understand that this is opinion. This is not fact. I am not in the know. I don't know anything other than what I see um, on Twitter, some things in Reddit, and then of course some different news outlets. Um, I guess all I can really tell you is, hey, don't jump off a bridge. Nothing is done yet. Um, there's a lot of varying information out there, and I see a lot of people saying that this is basically a done deal. It's not a done deal, as we as Arsenal fans know, until the club announce it, till we see the player actually standing with the hierarchy, holding up the jersey, holding up the kit, signing the paperwork, um, making it 100% official. So let's all just take a deep breath, okay? Let's have a little bit of calmness about us, if you will, and let's not go jumping off bridges just yet. This is not a foregone conclusion that he's going to join. So, um, yeah, it's just I think we all need to calm down. Just take a deep breath. You know, City haven't even lodged an official bid, at least from what I've seen. David Ornstein of The Athletic has reported multiple times that Arsenal have launched bids. And he has not said that Manchester City have launched a bid. So if Manchester City don't bid, they don't just get the player because they come in and say, "Hi, we're Manchester City. We want Declan Rice." Oh, sure. Here's Declan Rice. Off you go. That just doesn't happen. We all know how these things go. And I think it's just, let's just relax, pump the brakes here a little bit, everyone. So I'm not saying that it won't happen. I'm not saying that Declan Rice to Arsenal is official. I'm not saying that Declan Rice to Manchester City is official. I'm not saying that anything is official. Thank you, everybody, for being in the chat. Kalen, I believe I said that right. Thanks for being out there. Drop a line. You're a new name. I haven't seen you before, and I did get an alert that you subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much for that. Drop a comment for me. Let me know where you're watching or listening from. Bronx Gunner, what's going on? Gary, Stan, thank you guys for being out there. I'm kind of flying solo tonight. So Declan Rice is even with that beak in the middle of his face, he's a better looking guy than I am. So I figured I'd throw that up there, and I'll make myself a little smaller. And you can insert your inappropriate joke wherever you would like. So listen, guys, at the end of the day, I think we all know, again, nothing is official until it's official, right? From the Yogi Berra school of thinking, if you know who Yogi Berra is. But I saw a comment earlier today, or it was a poll on Twitter. I don't recall who it was. I think Arsenal Presser, I think, is who, at Arsenal Presser, something like that. Who's the biggest disappointment, Mudryk, Vlahovic, or Declan Rice? My response was, look, two of those are dodged bullets, in my opinion. And Declan Rice, as of this moment, is a West Ham player. So you can't be disappointed in at least the Declan Rice thing. You can't be disappointed in a deal that never happened, or on his end, he's still a West Ham player. So, Mudryk to Chelsea, look, we all have had a good chuckle at that and have discussed the bullet that we dodged there. Vlahovic, I mean, Juventus, yeah, they are what they are at this point, the cheats. And I was never a guy that was real high on him anyway. So, the Declan Rice thing, we'll get back to this. Look, if Manchester City are serious about this, they'll come in, they'll make their bid, they'll make their offer. And West Ham, look, I've seen reports that West Ham and Declan Rice are trying to be as respectful of each camp as possible. If Declan Rice wants a move to Arsenal, West Ham are under no obligation to make that deal. They're under the obligation to make the deal that is best for them. Declan Rice is under the obligation to make the deal that is best for him. So, who gives? Who blinks first? Ultimately, I think Declan Rice will get his wish, whatever that might be. If it's Manchester City, then that's where he goes. Two things on this. Number one, where does he get his playing? Where does he get his minutes? You figure you've got Rodri in front of him right now. If the who am I thinking of from Chelsea that Manchester City are supposedly in on the midfielder, and I had his name on the tip of my tongue, and now all of a sudden I can't remember the hell his name is. Mitrovic is the only name it's not Mitrovic. You guys know who I'm talking about. But they're in pursuit of Kovacic, Mateo Kovacic. Thank you, Stan. Yep, exactly. So this could all be just a West Ham, somebody there leaking something to the media saying, "Hey, put this out there because we want to drive the price up, get Arsenal into a bidding war, but really get them into a bidding war with themselves." And I think we've seen that that's just not going to happen. Arsenal aren't going to bid against themselves. They'll do their research and find, is City really lodging, a bid? Are they really preparing something? And if City really are in on Mateo Kovacic and Declan Rice, the question, how do you fit them all in? Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, still there. Rodri, as I already mentioned. Where do they fit? John Stones, for crying out loud, was playing midfield at one point for Manchester City this season. So, where does Declan Rice fit? I'm trying to speak more to Declan Rice's state of mind and perhaps what he may want. The best option for him is clearly to come to Arsenal as far as playing time is concerned. Manchester City can say, "We just won the treble," to which Declan Rice could say, "You just won it past tense. That doesn't guarantee me anything." I don't know how I'm going to figure this out because Ryan is here. I'm going to have to edit the layout. I'm going to bring him in. Oh, boy. Ryan, can you hear me? Ryan, are you there? Okay, we may have to figure something else out here.
Am I here?
There we go. Yep, got it. Bang. So what's up? Jump in. Are you there? Can you hear me?
I don't know. You texted me, and I don't really. I mean, I kind of don't know what's going.
I'm just talking about the
people are going crazy.
Yeah, that's basically all I'm talking about. Your internet is real bad. Yeah, I think I'm losing. I don't know where. Let me shoot him a message here. Yep, there he goes. Anyway, yeah, the bottom line here, the meltdown is I've mentioned. I mean, Early Doors Football TV. Again, new name. Thanks for being here. Rice also favors a move to City, so a lot of these Arsenal channels will have to face the music after saying it's a done deal to the Gunners. I've never said it was a done deal. That's never a thing that I do. I'm not one that says, "Yep, I don't listen, man. I don't know shit from Shinola." All right, I'm a guy that enjoys talking footy. I enjoy talking Arsenal, and I don't make calls like that. I don't know anything about this. I know what I read from the likes of David Ornstein, whom I trust. I don't think he's a scumbag tabloid, clickbait journalist. I think he does his due diligence before tweeting, before posting a video update or going on Sky Sports or going on NBC. here in America to discuss these things. Early doors football. Also, David Sullivan said that when they won the Europa Conference, making out that they had a gentleman's agreement, he basically set the bidding war right then and there. That I could say, yeah. I mean, that's, I've seen a lot of reports that the asking price prior to the Conference League final was $80 million. I don't know that. Again, I don't know anything. But then after the final, supposedly that price goes up. Oddly, Declan Rice didn't play that well in that match. So let's try this again with Ryan. This actually might be a little bit my fault because of the layout thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, if you can hear me, that's
okay.
good.
Yeah, I can hear you. You're real.
Maybe I'll come on my phone.
It's real choppy.
Literally jizz on my phone.
Can you hear me? No, I think his internet is real behind.
Yeah, no, it's something's going on with the internet.
I mean, you like when you're talking, you're good, but your response is very late. Okay, go into your phone. Is that what
maybe it's you? I guess then it would be you then, no?
Oh my
God!
I don't know. I can't tell. Somebody watching out there, tell me what you're seeing on the YouTube side of things, because I'm not privy to that. I'm not privy to this information here. I see StreamYard on my end. I don't have anything YouTube wise. Tell me how he's coming through. If somebody can drop me a comment. But City going for Rice is like them going for Grealish. I mean, I guess a little bit. I think Grealish. It took Grealish a while to settle in. I think. How do I put this, Bronx Gunner? I see where you're coming from. I get your point. I think I don't know where I just don't see where Declan Rice plays. Do they go Rodri, Rice, De Bruyne? Is that how City would line this up? I don't know. But if it's playing time, it's going to be us. I mean, he's coming in, and I was reading something else that about the captaincy. Boy, I don't know. This is one that I would kind of struggle with, that he would come in and eventually be named captain at Arsenal. I don't know how you strip Odegaard of the captaincy if he's done nothing to deserve it being stripped. So could he join we'll say the leadership hierarchy? I think that is a no-brainer. Of course he does. I think Rice is an eventual captain of the English national team. I think the writing is on the wall for that. But, I don't think Odegaard has the captaincy stripped from him. But let's not put our carts before. Let's not put our carts before our horses here, Howie. It's you got to take everything with a massive pinch of salt. Shout out to Stan on that one. You got to take these things with a massive pinch of salt, because you just, things are so, with social media, anybody can put anything out there, and you just throw these things, you throw excrement at the wall and you see what sticks. And ultimately what happens is you get the people who are the naysayers, who aren't confident that a deal is going to get done, and they latch onto these things and just run with it. And then it's like wildfire, man, or it's a snowball effect, and it just goes. Ryan, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep. I got you. So basically just the meltdown on social media over, I mean, I'm not going to say it's nothing, but boy, oh boy, there hasn't even been a bid launched for Manchester City, or lodged, I should say, for Manchester City. And people are acting like we just lost out on Johan Cruyff. So I'm just talking about the meltdown, and maybe a little bit about where, how Declan Rice might fit at City if he does in fact go there, but more the meltdown about things. I don't know what's your opinion on it.
I mean, it's definitely our it's number one priority. It's a big signing for us. I think we made a bigger leap than people expected this season. So I think you kind of have both sides melting down. The one side who are just upset if we miss out on anybody, we could be missing out on Alex Ferguson, and people are upset. Oh, another blown signing again. So you have those, you have people in that camp, and then you have the people that, and I guess, probably put my flag in this camp where, we made we made a bigger jump than probably everybody expected. So I think with that, we have to make a big jump in who we're buying and the kind of player that we're bringing into Arsenal. We're in Champions League now. We're going to be competing for the title next season. And Declan Rice is definitely a player I think that's going to help us. I think he's a future captain if we do sign. I think he's a future captain wherever he signs. He's going to be permanently the English captain. I don't know if he's officially the English captain yet. I know he's worn the armband, but he will be the captain of England soon. It's definitely a transformative signing for us. But am I melting down? No, I'm still confident we're going to sign him. I think Alex Goldberg tweeted this. Someone who's kind of in the know, and he's been tweeting, just saying essentially it's Arsenal's to lose, and I'm in that camp where we're in the driver's seat. I don't really think City stands a chance unless we come real short of what West Ham want, which I don't think we're real short. I think we're close, and I think if City are serious and City want to launch a bid, I think we're just going to meet West Ham's asking price, overpay a little bit. But I think a player like Declan Rice, obviously you never want to overpay for a player, but a player like Declan Rice, we're going to need to overpay a little bit, and I think the club needs to understand that. And I think now with Man City coming in, who for all intents and purposes could just be scaring us because they realize how close we are to them, and City are, if you're City and you have to pick it and you say who scares you the most next season, I mean you could say Newcastle, but I think more than majority of people will say Arsenal are the scariest team. So, why not mess with our transfer strategy? Why not mess with our transfers? And I think with it being widely known that Declan Rice is our number one target, I think this is just an easy way for them to kind of rattle us a little bit. But I'm not melting down yet. I mean, this does suck that City's coming into the fold because that means we are going to have to overpay for him a little. But I still think this is our solution. I still think we're going to secure Declan Rice.
Yeah, I mean, gun to my head, I think we get the deal done. I don't think we're that far off on the valuation, like you said. And I think a lot of the hang up from what I think I recall reading was it was more the structure of the deal. Like, yeah, okay, we're short in terms of dollar, we're short in terms of fee, but more the structure of the deal. And I remember reading before the Europa Conference League final, that's so odd to say. The Europa Conference League, like, just call it the Europa Conference. Why is it the Conference League? Call it the Europa Conference. Anyway, that's another story for another time. It was West Ham needed to have this transfer paid in 2 installments to avoid any financial fair play, I'll say irregularities. But apparently, we're offering add-ons that West Ham feel are unattainable, and ultimately I just feel like this deal gets done. I feel I'd say there's been too much smoke. There was a lot of smoke with Mudryk, and that deal didn't get done. Conspiracy theory, you can yell at me for it if you want. And I said this before on the show with you. The Mudryk thing, I think there was some backdoor dealing with the Ukrainian government and the war effort against Russia that when he went to Chelsea, there was some deal with Chelsea basically giving the money was going to the Ukrainian government. It wasn't all going to Shakhtar, but like I say, conspiracy theory. So this is everything in this deal should be on the up and up. It's just going to be which offer does West Ham accept, if there are in fact two clubs that make an offer, and also Declan Rice. I said earlier, you weren't here yet, that I think there's a gentleman's agreement between Declan Rice's camp and West Ham that he's going to leave. And I think they want to do right by each other. I don't think either camp wants to burn a bridge. Each camp has to do what's best for its own establishment. But I don't think they want to screw each other. I don't think Declan Rice is going to say, I want to go to Arsenal. I don't care if Manchester City offer you double what Arsenal offer. That's where I want to go. I also don't think that Manchester or West Ham would say, look, Manchester City have offered us the same fee, but they're also going to throw in a bag of balls. We're going to take Manchester City's offer if he says he wants Arsenal. So, a lot of comments here. It's weird not seeing you. I got to tell you.
My
it's
camera, I guess, on my phone. No, my camera on my phone, I guess, isn't working because I do have the camera on. So it's
fine. It's fine. I'm scrolling through comments here. I really appreciate the interaction, guys. It's great stuff. Sandro Tonali to Newcastle stance, very quietly. Yeah, I mean, at least the English speaking world is focused on Declan Rice. But Bronx Gunner 5-year payment plan. That I don't buy into that. I don't buy in that Arsenal want to pay this over the course of 5 years. That's just not. No one else does that. And I can't imagine that one of the biggest clubs in the world say, I know that Carlisle United buy their players and pay the fees up front and there's no installment, but we want to pay you over the course of 5. That's just something I don't buy into. So, I don't know. I just figured I'd come on here and, talk about it a little bit, just kind of get things out there and let people vent, in the comments if they wanted to, some good interaction there. So, City have talked with West Ham is from Early Doors Football. Early Doors, I don't recognize the name, but your logo looks very familiar to me, and I don't know why.
I think I just followed them on Twitter, so if I did,
okay. Well, appreciate them being here. Hey, listen, if you're not subscribed, please drop a subscription to the channel, and I'll be sure to follow on Twitter as well. And we'll also subscribe to your YouTube.
Yeah,
channel.
if I'm not following anybody in the chat too, like drop your Twitter handles. I'm always down to interact. But yeah, it sucks. I'm a big Rice guy. I really want him. I said it multiple times. I think he will become the best midfielder in the Premier League, and I think Arteta could coach him up, and I think he's going to be great. But I also think we have other options. I'm not too worried about. I am worried, but I'm not. I don't think all is lost if we don't sign Rice. I think there is that player out there for us, and I think we're making so many deals. We did get Kai Havertz. I'm assuming we're going to announce him next week, which at first I wasn't too keen on, but I think he's going to help us because I think Arteta really wants as many players as he can in the squad that could just play multiple positions. That way, no team could really plan for us. So that's good. We just need to. I don't know. I'm pretty positive. Not selling Rice would suck, especially if he goes to Man City. But again, I definitely think it's ours to lose, and I think we just gotta stay the course, bid what we need to bid, and not be the club that people kind of know us as, where we penny pinch and we're not willing to put that foot forward. And I think the Cronkies are, despite what most people say, I think the Cronkies will pay, and I think we will sign Declan Rice. But there's so much transfer window left. It just started, and links with Runnerson leaving, Partey leaving. I don't know. I think with this whole crazy meltdown, instead of like melting down with the rest of Twitter and social media, I kind of just turned my attention to like, okay, who's leaving? Okay, are we linked to anybody else? like the link strong. I kind of turned my attention elsewhere because if I obsess myself over one transfer to make or break our transfer window as a whole, I think it's never going to work out well.
Right. I mean, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. And look, the other thing too, like Stan brought up a good question. How do people know what we offer as a payment plan or add-ons? How does that info get out? Well, what I think it is, Stan, honest to God, is somewhere years ago there was a transfer. I'm not going to name. I can't name names. I'm simply speaking in generalities. There was a transfer that we were involved in, and well, it goes back to Luis Suarez. The 30 million in one, or 50 million in £1 kind of thing. Maybe it goes back to that. And then there was some sort of payment plan that was leaked where, okay, we're going to do this in installments, and the negativity merchants in social media just took that and ran with it. So now any transfer that doesn't get done, and let's also, I want to put this out there as well. The social media aspect of this 20 years ago, you read about it. You read about it in the newspaper when it happened, and that was it. There was no social media where we're monitoring the situation every single second of every day, where we're tracking planes, flying across the continent, and that cloud looks like Declan Rice's sister's cat, and that's it's in the stars, and he's the social media thing. It's like, I want it now. I want the answer. I want the knowledge yesterday, because so much of this is right at our fingertips. And so I think that's also a big part of it, that any little bit of negativity, it gets so overblown. So Stan, to answer your question, I think it's people that just kind of put it out there, and unfortunately they've gained a big following in social media, and therefore a lot of what they say is taken as gospel because, oh, well, they have 250,000 followers, so they've got to be somebody, because a nobody doesn't have that many followers. That's my theory. That's my theory on that. But yeah, I don't know. Ryan, what else you got? It's weird. It's really weird not seeing your face. Fucking hell.
All right? Can you?
I like not seeing your face and just seeing a black box. Like when I see your face, I'm like, okay, I got to shut up because I know he wants to say something.
No, I honestly don't. I don't really have much to say. I just, because like I said, when this, because like I said before when I first came on, I kind of know what's going on, but I kind of don't know what's going on, because when I heard like Man City entered the race, I kind of just focused my attention elsewhere. Like, oh, Runnelson's wanted by Anderlecht. Oh, Sambi Lakanga could be going to Burnley on a loan. Thomas Partey is being wanted by Juventus, Saudi clubs. Like, kind of focused my attention elsewhere. Because there's just so many things that need to go down. If we don't get Rice, we still need a lot of players in our squad to leave. We still need to sign more than Declan Rice, more than Kai Havertz. It's just like kind of balancing. It's kind of like a balancing act, because you need a bunch of things to happen, and if one thing doesn't go your way, you can't you can't have a meltdown. And like on top of that too, like I said, I do believe it's Arsenal's to lose. I think, and all the Twitters and all those people are tweeting how Declan Rice is keen to join Arsenal. He wants to join Arsenal. Personal agreement already intact. Like, I do think the pictures of him and Saga are media driven. I don't think there's anything to look into that. They're friends, they're teammates on the England squad. Like, I'm not freaking out about that. But I do believe he believes in Arteta's project. I believe that Arsenal is the team for him. I'm obviously not a professional footballer, so I don't know how a situation like this goes. But for me,
right,
if I'm Declan Rice, I want Arsenal. I believe in the project. Obviously, I have a good friend in Bukayo Saka on the team. I don't really see how you could kind of just agree to join Man City. But money. I guess money talks, and don't think Declan's that kind of guy. I think Declan sees a nice path for him at Arsenal, a nice comfy home in Arsenal. He doesn't have to move. He's still in London. I really don't see the City thing happening unless they
Yeah.
unless they pay like double whatever, unless they literally go to West Ham and goes, oh, what's Arsenal's best bid? Yeah, double it. So I don't know.
I
I'm not worried at all. I still think it's ours to lose, and I do believe we're a different club than, at least regarding transfers. Anyways, we're a different club as of
I
several
think
years ago.
I think if we want Declan Rice, we get Declan Rice. I think if this is Arteta's number one transfer, I think we get it. I think we get it done. I'll throw this out there again. Another conspiracy theory. I was thinking about this earlier today. If and this is a pretty far fetched one. I'll be honest, but if say City come in and we bid 100 and let's just say 102, City come in and bid 104, and their offer is accepted, and I think there is a part of me that thinks, with all of the things going on in the world of football and professional sports, that there is just with all of the oil money in these Middle Eastern countries and Saudi Arabia and getting involved in so many different things and I mean, there are rumors that Saudi Arabia want to buy the NFL, like this what is it, the private investment fund or whatever it is, public investment fund. Sorry. Basically the owners of the group that bought Newcastle, which is effectively the Saudi, God, I don't know, what do I want to say? The kingdom, like the royal family or whatever you want to call them, whatever they are, Saudi Arabia. They're the ones that bought Newcastle. Are they just so not necessarily not Saudi Arabia, but the Sheikh Mansour at City and of course the the PSG thing, and then you've got City whatever the whole thing is, City Football Holdings or something like that. But that, I mean, look, there are shady deals all over the place. We know because we perpetrated one of the shadiest deals in football history when we signed Pepe under Ralston Lee. So there are things out there that are just. I think football as a whole is, in terms of being on the up and up, I think that's done. I think there are a lot of backroom, shady dealings and happenings that just, certain teams are going to get left in the cold. Hopefully, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm thinking, do City just come in and cut some backroom shady deal with West Ham to say, look, we want him because we don't want him to go to Arsenal. So how do we work this out where we give you the money, but you're going to get something back? And who knows?
I don't believe in that shit.
I know.
If anything, well, the Mudryk thing to me is different, but I don't believe City's going to do that. The thing that's interesting to me though is City could send Calvin Phillips the other way, and for West Ham, you're like Calvin Phillips. Like, I think West Ham could definitely rejuvenate his career a little bit. The interesting thing that I want to see unfold, which I don't know if we will actually see unfold, I think it's definitely something that will probably be unfolded in the back rooms that not many people will know about until Declan Rice comes out with like an all-tell book or somebody from the West Ham board. But I would like to see the relationship between Declan Rice and West Ham. I think it's good. West Ham has done quite the service. Declan Rice has done quite the service for West Ham, and I think you could say the same goes the other way. You would think West Ham would kind of bend the knee for Declan. If Declan wants to move to Arsenal, I think West Ham should be, like, you've done quite a service for our club. We appreciate it. You've captained our squad. You've made this club relevant to an extent. Besides,
he's going to bring them
hooligans.
He's going to bring them a big transfer fee from whomever,
But
Arsenal.
But then you go the other way, like, okay, well, may think he owes West Ham something, and if West Ham and Declan are in a room, and West Ham like, listen, like, we know you want to go to Arsenal, but Man City are giving us more money, and we could use this money. Like, Declan Rice might say to himself, like, all right, well, I want to do good by West Ham. I want to leave on a good note, because I do believe that. I believe Declan Rice is, he wants to do well by West Ham. He wants to do well by the club. And that's, I do think it's more, I think the leverage is more on Declan Rice's side, which is why I was convinced he was going to Arsenal. I just thought West Ham was going to hold out because I don't think Declan Rice would agitate a move away. I think if they, for argument's sake, let's say Man City's not in this bidding war. If it's just Arsenal after Declan Rice putting in a price and getting sold, I wouldn't be shocked if we didn't meet West Ham's needs and West Ham just don't sell him and West Ham keep him. Because I think Declan Rice would be upset, but he's not an Aubameyang type of player to not show up to training and agitate a move, put in his transfer slip in. But it's very interesting. I guess it would be very interesting to see, the dynamic between Declan Rice and West Ham going forward, because I genuinely believe he wants to come to Arsenal. I genuinely believe that Arsenal is the better fit for him. Because I think I don't know if Arsenal's a better fit for him. I just think if Man City miss out on Declan Rice, it's okay, cool. We'll just buy someone for double that from some random team, and they'll just slot him in because with Gundogan gone, with Bernardo Silva potentially going to Saudi Arabia. And you have other players that are linked with moves away from City. I think City can easily recover. And I almost think they're just poking us. They're just trying to agitate us as a club and distract us and rattle us. But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
I just don't think City are gonna come in with this exorbitant offer that's just gonna blow us out of the water. I mean, that's just not good business. I mean, the fact is, you can't just, if you say, look, we just want to get the deal done, we're just going to blow them out of the water. If that's the case, I mean, Manchester City, when we think about it, they have the money to just come in and say something crazy like, okay, what's your valuation? We want 105 million. Okay, what are Arsenal offering? They're at 90 million. Okay, you know what? We're just going to give you 180 and be done with this. We're going to give you 180 million and let's just be done with it. If they can do it, they don't, right? Because financial fair play won't allow them to do that. But I don't think they're going to come in with an offer, even if they do. And maybe they are. Maybe this is to stir the pot with Arsenal. Maybe what they're trying to do is, okay, look, we're going to throw in a bid randomly. We're going to top them, knowing this is Manchester City, that, okay, if we come in at 103, we're going to drive Arsenal up to 105. Maybe we come back at 106, and that'll drive Arsenal up to, say, maybe 110. And now maybe what Manchester City's thinking is, well, if we could just get them to spend more money on Declan Rice, maybe that takes money away from Caicedo. Maybe that takes money away from Jurriën Timber. Jurriën, I'm not sure how you say it. Daniel Shaw, they care about financial fair play. You're right. I get it, but I just don't think that City are going to come in and make an offer that Arsenal can't at least match, and then say, okay, we're going to put it down to the player. We've matched. You have two identical offers. Now it's up to the player. What does the player want? City can't come in, really. I mean, 115 charges leveled against them for breaches of not being, I guess, very forthcoming in their financial records. But, as far as wages go, because there's another, that's another thing to take into consideration here is we can give him the wages that he wants, but City could probably give him a little bit more maybe, or would be willing to give him a little bit more. So ultimately at the end of the day, I think where we can leave this, particular thing is just just relax. Just relax. Don't take every little thing that you read on Twitter, so seriously. Don't take it as gospel, especially if it's just a Twitter account. If they're not a journalist and a respected journalist, then, Fabrizio Romano, Stan, you said he's hot garbage or however you put it. I don't particularly care for Fabrizio Romano. I do think that he is in certain clubs, on certain clubs' payrolls, so he gets paid to put some information out there and drive certain narratives. Ultimately, if you see a "here we go," he's right. So I'll say that. But look, David Ornstein, James McNicholas, Amy Lawrence, Arthur Roche, those are the journalists that I follow, that I think are reputable, that do the work, and don't really miss. I just don't think they miss anything that The Athletic puts its name on as a publication. You can take that with a fair amount of certainty and trust. That's just me. A lot of what I saw today,
the biggest pinches of salt.
The biggest pinch. Yeah. I just think that a lot of the things that we've seen today and a lot of the reasons that people are overreacting, don't go down that rabbit hole of Twitter, of the ITKs. They don't know anything. They don't know shit. And if they did, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I also think the biggest. I don't say the biggest, but I think subconsciously a big reason why a lot of people are melting down is because multiple Twitter accounts, multiple articles, multiple everything are saying that Declan Rice is our priority. Declan Rice is number one. We don't care about Caicedo.
Yeah.
I mean, we've kind of told Caicedo, yeah, go to Chelsea. We don't care. And I think that's what's kind of burning people's chaps a little bit, is just like, if we can't get our top target, then what? Like, then we're screwed. What are we gonna do? And it's just like, I don't know. I'm still just, I'm happy about the season that we had. I know most people won't say that and probably argue with me, but I'm happy with the season we had. I think we're going to be better even without Declan Rice. I think Kai Havertz is an upgrade, and I think we're going to make more signings. Will Declan Rice not come to Arsenal suck? Yeah, no, don't get me wrong, it's going to suck, but I still think in this transfer window, we're going to be better than what we were last season. And if people were excited and happy about last season, and I don't want to talk about us, dropping the league, but just the amount of points we scored, the amount of goals we scored, the amount of goals we conceded, and our position of second place. If you're happy with that, I mean, obviously you want to finish first. I'm not saying that, but considering where we were, if you're happy with those stats, they're going to be better, with or without Declan Rice. But no, I mean, it still does suck, but we just got to just keep, this transfer window is long and grueling. We just need to kind of unite, stand together, and just not have, I try not to have meltdowns. I know it's easier said than done, but like I said, I just come on and I'll talk to you about Rodos and Enderlich. I'll talk to you about Partey, which sucks because the Partey thing is probably for another show, but that's you hear 40 million from Saudi Arabia, and you hear 18 from Juventus, although Italian clubs love to nickel and dime you more than Arsenal.
Oh yeah.
Even. But yeah, no, I just think there's so much transfer window left and so many more players to come in and so many to leave that no matter what, whether we get Declan Rice or not, like, we're going to be a better team than a second place Arsenal. And was it 87, 84 points? Tied for the most points ever by an Arsenal team. Scoring. I wish I had the stats in front of me, but just playing like absolute monsters for like 80 to 85% of the season, and we're going to be better. Our younger players, our Bukayo Sakas, our Martinellis, and yes, even our ESRs, which I would like to say, I absolutely yes, his goal was a tap in. But if you've watched his run, I've never seen him run so fast. I was so excited because he's not a fast player. He's not known to be a fast player, and that I thought that was a Usain Bolt-esque sprint. So I was very happy about that. And all those.
I could sense your chubby from here.
Yes, I know. I mean, when I was watching the game, I was more moist, but we won't get into that. I felt like a girl is kind of what I was getting at. But just screaming, babe. I actually did call him babe, which is, I laughed at myself after. It was very embarrassing. even to myself.
Bam.
Thank God
Bam,
my
bam.
wife wasn't home.
Bam,
But yeah,
bam,
no,
bam.
I just at least for me, one player is not going to make and break my transfer window. One player is not going to get me upset with this club for next season. I think we're going to be better without, even if we don't get Declan Rice, we're going to be better. You know, will City be better if they get him? Yeah, probably. But I think about the players that we have. Even take Kai Havertz out of it because he's not official yet. But you look at Bukayo Saka, you look at Gabriel Martinelli, Aaron Ramsdale, Gabriel Magalhaes, Saliba, who I'm hearing he's going to be back for preseason and his back's feeling a lot better. You know, all the youngest team in the Premier League that are currently playing. I don't know if we are with given our outgoings and stuff like that, and Jorginho screwing everything up, but we're going to be better. Everybody on this squad, even if we don't make a single fucking signing, we're going to be better. So I'm excited for that. And you tell me we're gonna sign people. Like let's not get twisted.
Right.
So like I just
Havertz,
I don't know. It's gonna be hard for me to melt down about Declan Rice. I mean, the only thing is I was big on him even when we weren't linked with him. I think Arteta could have made him the best midfielder in the world. So like knowing that, you know, if he doesn't sign for us, knowing we won't see that would be kind of depressing. But I think the world is our oyster right now, and we need to just take it. And there are other players out there. You know, it's kind of like talking to your friend who just broke up with his girl. You know, there's other fish in the sea, and I know it's lame to say, but like especially when it comes to football, like there's 11 players on the pitch. One player is not going to make or break your year. It's just not. I mean, you could say for us, William Saliba was, and then Partey for that, but we won't get into that.
You made a good point earlier, and I think this is the last thing that I'll say about it. I know you got to run, but the idea that he is Declan Rice is our number one priority. So not getting him is that therein cue the meltdown, right? Oh, we didn't get our top target. Well, again, how did we not get our top target again? Well, look, I mentioned earlier, Mudryk. Mudryk was our top target in January. We didn't get him. Look how that worked out. Ryan's gone. You know, it again, bullet dodged, right? Bullet dodged on Mikhailo Mudryk. He's back again. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Yeah.
You froze, and I was like, what just happened? Trying to get ready for soccer.
But anyway, what I said was I think your point to it being our number one target, people freak out if, you know, they say, oh my God, somebody else is in for him. Well, yeah, you know what? Somebody else should be in for him. He's that kind of a player. You almost want to see a little bit of healthy competition for a player of his caliber. If no one else is going to bid for him, then it's kind of like, what do they know that we don't? Right? I mean, that's kind of the way I would look at it. So I think I don't think it's a bad thing that City are involved or are, you know, thinking about launching a bid. I just think everybody needs to calm down, take a deep breath, relax. Que sera, whatever will be. So, yeah, I think that's it. Stan, I'll shout you out if you guys are around 5:40 p.m. Pacific time. That would be 3 hours, 8:40 p.m. here on the East Coast, and that's a late one for you folks across the pond. That would be 1:40 in the a.m. If you're in the UK. Jump on to Arsenal Fan Circle. Stan is going to spontaneously combust live on air. How many of you can say that you've ever seen someone spontaneously combust? I have not, so I will be there. But yeah, Stan, if you've got anything else, throw it down there in the chat. I'll throw that out there. But yeah, emergency presser done and dusted. Ryan, how much time do you have?
Like 10, like not even 10 minutes. 10 minutes-ish.
I'll tell you what, I'll open it up. Anybody, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat for us. I've got a little bit of time. I can answer some questions if anybody has any questions for me. We'll get you warmed up for Arsenal Fan Circle. Ryan can hang as long as he possibly can. But yeah, if you have any questions for us, drop them in the chat. We'll get to them. And look, it's we're not even. I don't even. What's the date today? The 22nd. Yeah, the 22nd. So, oh, by the way, the days are going to start to get shorter. I know a lot of people don't like that. I know a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah,
I hate summer with a white hot fiery passion.
Well, I hate the heat
summer
because I sweat very easily. But
okay.
But
yeah,
I'm a big. Listen. I'm not a professional footballer. I never claimed to be, but I love playing. I play I try to play 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes 5, and when I play outdoors, nothing's better than working up a really good sweat playing. Even outside, inside doesn't really matter. But other than that, though, the heat, summer can do one.
Alex, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name because it's Greek, if I'm not mistaken. But do I think if we lose Rice to City, we should try to get Caicedo? I'm going to be honest with you. I think we should be trying to get them both.
I think they're both 2 different players.
But they are 2 different players. I don't see Caicedo in the same role that I see Declan Rice. I think we should be going after both right now, even with Kai Havertz seemingly a done deal. Medical scheduled for the weekend. The last I read, I believe that was Ornstein to put that out there. Not a done deal yet. Medical supposedly over the weekend, so hopefully early next week we've got that confirmed. And I'm A-okay with having Kai Havertz here. When I heard that Chelsea were going for him 3 years ago, I was like, I wanted Kai Havertz, a good player. Good player. Chelsea just, boy, that is where good young talent goes to die, is at Chelsea. Man, they just, oh boy. But I think we should be going after both regardless of losing Rice. So I would say they're different players, but I would think that the Caicedo chase would ramp up if we do lose out on Declan Rice.
I don't think personally
now.
I don't think we're getting Caicedo. I think whether there's reports that he rejected us, and I've seen reports that we just don't prioritize him and we don't really want him yet because we have other fish to fry. I don't really care what the situation is. I think that no matter if he rejected us or not, I think he feels scorned. I think he wants to be priority. And on top of that, like he said it even in January, he wants to make money for his family. He grew up in a not great situation. So I'm sure he wants to make, he wants every bang for his buck that he could get. And I do feel he feels scorned by us a little bit. And even if he didn't reject us, I don't think he's going to be. I think he would join if the money was right, and I think we can agree to personal terms. But I think it's a long shot that we get Caicedo. I think he feels some type of way about us kind of not prioritizing him. Which, I mean, if you're a player and you have a dream of moving to a club, and your dream club's kind of you don't want to be strung along. I feel like we're kind of stringing him along a little bit. It's we want you, but we
want you on our terms. We're not sure what our terms are going to be yet.
Yeah, we really want to sign this guy, Declan Rice, and and from his point of view, he probably thinks he's better than Declan Rice. He's like, you're prioritizing Declan Rice. I'm way better than Declan Rice. Whether you want to believe it or not is whatever, but as a player, you're going to always believe you're better than everybody else. So
you should,
I do feel that, a player's ego kind of comes into the account a little bit, and this player's like, you know what? You don't want me? Good, you're not going to get me. And I think Chelsea and him are no agreement. The last I heard, despite what Glenn may tell everybody, there's no agreement yet between Chelsea and Caicedo. I think.
Yeah, right.
I think personal terms are agreed, but Brighton and Chelsea Chelsea hasn't made an official bid yet. And I think the Caicedo thing is a little more interesting in the fact that I think with a player like Caicedo, in difference to Rice, I think Caicedo is a player that you show him the money, he's like, I fit in your system. Oh yeah, Bournemouth, yeah, I fit in your system. You want to pay me? Yeah, and for a player like him, I don't blame him because of the situation he was in. Was he Colombian, Venezuelan? He's South American. I know that. I want to say he's Colombian or Venezuelan, or Ecuadorian. I think he's Ecuadorian. He's Ecuadorian.
I think that's it. Yeah.
It's one of the three. The yellow, blue, and red flags.
That's
Confusing.
Ecuador.
But anyways,
That's Ecuador.
Yeah. So, well, no, all three of them have yellow, blue, and red.
Do they?
But yeah, that's why I get confused. Anyways, but besides the point. Yeah. So like, he wants to support his family. He wants a better life for his family, and I'm not mad at that. You can't blame that.
No,
You can't blame him for that. So like, yeah. So I personally, long story short, I know it's too late. I don't see us signing Declan Rice. Excuse me, Caicedo. Brody and stuff on.
Yeah. Who would be a suitable replacement for Rice if it doesn't happen?
Emil Smith Rowe.
No.
I was kidding. Because I think Declan Rice is coming in to play the 8, and then I think
Really?
But it's crazy. It's crazy because I think Havertz is going to play the 8 too. I think there's so many things that are going to happen with this team. I think to bed Rice in right away, I wouldn't be shocked if he takes Xhaka's position. And it's funny because I literally said on our last show that it would be Kai Havertz taking the position, but and then I think he's going to slowly, kind of like what we're doing with ESR and betting ESR in Xhaka's role. I think we're going to be betting in Declan Rice into Partey's role. So I don't know if Rice is ready for Partey's role yet, or who knows? We may just slot him into Partey's role. You never know. Like it's very possible. I wouldn't doubt it. But I would not be surprised if his first few games Rice plays in Xhaka's spot.
Interesting. I don't know, man. I just don't see him there. I don't see him there at all. I would put ESR. I'm not saying he can't do it.
Normally Rice plays in a double pivot with Souček.
True.
And Souček is usually the bruiser. Souček is the bruiser, whereas Declan is more of like the playmaker. I think that's, you could say it's to kind of relate it to Arsenal, which you kind of can't because we don't play the way West Ham plays.
Right.
Arsenal, our bruiser it's not really Thomas Partey, but it's more Xhaka. But Xhaka's it's just, I don't know. It's very tough because Xhaka is technically our bruiser, but he really wasn't our bruiser this season. He was kind of a guy that arrives late in the box. He's kind of like winning the ball in the middle of the field and kind of setting up play, kind of getting that pre-assist, giving that ball to Trossard, giving the ball to Odegaard to make that assist. I think right now, without coaching from Arteta, like if we signed Declan Rice the day before our first game, I wouldn't be surprised if he played. I think he's going to be better equipped to play the Xhaka role right now. But I think long term, he's going to be the Partey replacement. He's going to be fucking the best in the world at it.
That's exactly what
he's going to be the best. He's going to be better than Thomas Partey at that 6. But I do think he needs to kind of work in the system a little bit.
Yeah, man. It kind of back to the question. I mean, who do you replace him with? I just don't know that there's a replacement out there. Honestly, I'll say this, and it's going to sound stupid, or I maybe it doesn't sound stupid, but maybe it's too simplistic. I don't know. But if we don't get Declan Rice, Thomas Partey doesn't leave.
No,
I don't want Partey to leave if we get Declan Rice. I think that is.
I think the two are not mutually exclusive. I think that's why we're hearing links because this Rice thing is far from over, and yet we're still hearing talks that Rice's Partey's representatives met with Arsenal, and they're kind of telling them yeah, we don't want to let you go, but if there's a suitable offer, keep an ear out. And I think that's what the whole thing was about with Juventus and with the Saudi clubs. So I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think whether we get Rice or not, it does not depend on Partey. But if we do lose Partey, that just means we have to sign a couple more midfielders, which I think we have it in our Arsenal. And I think that we'll be. I think we'll be fine. But I think we need a midfielder coming in first before Partey officially leaves. Same with why Xhaka hasn't been announced for Leverkusen yet, and that deal has been agreed for what feels like ages.
I just, the biggest thing for me with this transfer window was to upgrade the depth. and I'll put it this way. If we get Declan Rice and we get Kai Havertz, even if we got Caicedo in, let's just say we somehow just shock the world and we got all three. I still don't want Thomas Partey to leave because Thomas Partey is the upgrade to the depth. Declan Rice is the upgrade on the starting 11. Caicedo, probably, if that were to happen, well, let's start with Havertz. I'll start there. Let's just go Declan Rice, Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is the Granit Xhaka. He goes into that left 8 role. That's the upgrade on the starting 11. Thomas Partey, that's the upgrade on the depth. If Emile Smith-Rowe can figure out that left 8 role, which I would love to see, Ryan, you and I have talked about this before, that's an upgrade on the depth. The players that are already here, some of them, will be the depth upgrade when we upgrade on them in terms of the starting 11. If we lose Thomas Partey, well, we have to replace him. Declan Rice isn't. I don't want Declan Rice to replace Thomas Partey. I almost said I don't want Kai Havertz to replace Granit Xhaka. Boy, I actually know. I would, personal opinion, I would love for Kai Havertz to not replace Granit Xhaka. I would love to have them both. I would scale back Granit Xhaka's playing time. I would have Granit Xhaka playing the Bournemouths of the world, playing the cup matches, or the early cup matches. I would be bringing him on as a substitute, on 70 minutes, 75 minutes, 65 minutes, whatever it might be. I think there's still a role for Granit Xhaka to play with this club. I don't think his time here, I don't think his story is done with this football club yet. It looks like it's being forced to be done. And if he wants to move on, so be it. I don't want to go off on a tangent on Granit Xhaka.
I would have agreed with that. I did agree with that a couple weeks ago, but just the amount of players we're bringing in and the amount of players we need to leave, I don't think there's space for him here. I think we're as you can see, Jorginho with links to Sarri, Partey links with Italy, with Saudi Arabia. I think we're looking to rebuild this whole midfield, and I don't think there's room for him. I think we're going to be signing more players. I mean, yeah, who knows? If we don't sign Declan Rice and we don't sign any of the midfielders the rest of the window, then you're right. I guess then I would fall in your boat, but I don't see a space for him. I'm not going to – I'll always hold on to El Neni, but, you're not going to hold on to Granit Xhaka just for, a good vibes guy. Just to, lead.
No, that's not why I hold on. No.
Locker room. No, I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying I'm not going to – I'm not going to hold on to somebody because, he's a leader in the locker room and he's a leader off the pitch and he can really help the guys learn. It's right. Yeah, that'd be great, but and it's I almost part of me does want that, but part of me's no, we finished second place with the NXT Premier League. We're gonna get better. We don't need to be paying Granit Xhaka to I think Arteta's got a good hold on it. That's why he pays his staff. That's why he has 1 million assistant coaches. That's why we have all these things. We don't need to be paying Granit Xhaka. We could get a fee for him when he goes to Germany. So I think it's great. And with that, I bid everybody adieu, and it's been a pleasure. And everybody hit me up on Twitter and we can talk about this. But don't melt down, everybody. Everything's gonna be okay. And if you get upset, just watch Emile Smith-Rowe's goal.
Later, buddy.
Later.
See ya. That was good. That was good shit to get him in there. I got a little bit more time here. If anybody else has any questions, the questions kind of dried up. But just the midfield thing. I'll just real quick kind of wrap up my thoughts with that. You can count them with me right now in this team. Okay, we have Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka, Mohamed El Neni, Jorginho, Martin Odegaard, Sambi Lokonga, who will come back on loan. So there's 6 right there. Emile Smith-Rowe, I don't know where he's going to fit. I know that Mikel Arteta really, really values him, and I would like to see him try to fit into that left 8 role that Granit Xhaka played, getting a little more advanced in the attack and what have you. He's not as – I don't think he's as good defensively, and some of you are going to be like, I can't believe you just said that. But not sure he's as good defensively as Granit. He's faster than Granit Xhaka for sure. But I don't know that his positioning defensively is as sound as Granit Xhaka. But again, left 8 role, you're getting advanced. You're more advanced in attack. So, you might not necessarily need to worry about that too much. Right now, the midfield is stacked. I would imagine Sambi Lokonga is going to get sold. I would be looking to sell him. I don't know that there's a spot for him here. Mohamed El-Neni isn't going anywhere. I think he signed a new contract basically to rehab his knee. I think he's going for his coaching badges. So I think the club are basically just doing El-Neni a solid. He's not on high wages. Doesn't really want to go anywhere. I don't think there's really much of a market for him. He could maybe play in Turkey, but I think he's happy where he is. And I'm a Mo El-Neni guy. You guys have heard me say this many times before. I'm a Mo El-Neni guy. Just the kind of player just the kind of guy that I think you want to have around. But Jorginho came in, he did a job. Look, right now it's a crowded midfield room for the Arsenal. If Declan Rice comes in and now we're adding in Kai Havertz, we're talking potentially 9, midfielders before sales. We're talking 9, midfielders that could be in the mix. 2 or 3 are going to have to go. So you figure that would be Granit Xhaka, Sambi Lokonga. And if it is Thomas Partey, I'm not thrilled with it, but I can see where the line of thinking there goes. 6 or 7. I don't think Mo El-Neni's going to play again unless it's a very, very early cup match, League Cup, against, I couldn't even, I don't even know. I can't even, barn it. Yeah, somebody that wrecks them. See what I did? But I don't think he plays, even if he comes back healthy. I just don't think he plays. I don't think that's what he's here for anymore. So ideally, if you count him with the knowledge that he's not going to play, you probably need 7 midfielders to really go into the season and go into Champions League saying, I feel good about where we are in midfield, that I can rotate guys, and we're going to perform well on 2 fronts, being Champions League and Premier League. Let me scroll up here in the comments real quick. Early doors. There was a question. Hang on. And maybe early door. Maybe it was. Do I think the reported fee for Havertz is too much? Which was 65 million, I believe. Why should they pay over the odds for him? Structure-wise, the rumor is it's 50 million plus 15 million in add-ons. I don't want to say that 65 million is a bargain. I don't think it is. I think the bargain would be more, take the add-ons off. I think the bargain would be more around 50. But you're paying for potential. And I think when you look at what Arteta has been able to do with some players, you look at a player like Kai Havertz, the pedigree that he went to Chelsea with from Leverkusen, German international, believe he captained the U21s for Germany at some point, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. But there's a very high ceiling for Kai Havertz, and ultimately, no one is cheap anymore. The players, the pool that we're swimming in now, being back in the Champions League, the players that we want to get in and the players that we need to get in to compete on all 4 fronts are just simply not going to be cheap. And we as a club need to not be cheap. If Mikel Arteta wants Kai Havertz, without being stupid, if Chelsea would have said we paid 80 for him, we want 80, walk away. Sorry, but we're not paying 80. You ruined him. You destroyed his you destroyed whatever, I'll say, hoopla surrounded him coming from Leverkusen. So no, you're not going to get 80 for him because you trashed him, but I'll give you 60. I'll give you 65. I think it's a fair deal. I really do. I think a bargain would be 50. I think 65 is fair. You figure, put it this way. It's 50. 50 is the bargain and 80 is overpaying and you walk away at that point. Split the difference. You're at 65. Boom. There you go. Good stuff from early doors. Can we rely on Gabriel Jesus to get the goals? Do we need another striker? If so, who do you get? Early doors, this is an easy one. There's a fella by the name of Kylian Mbappe at PSG. That just solves the problem right there. You get Kylian Mbappe. I don't know, 70 mil, give or take. That might be overpaying a little bit. He's probably not worth that much. No, in all seriousness, here's the thing early doors. The way that Mikel Arteta sets up his system, it is not reliant on one player to bag 30 goals a year. It's not really all that reliant on a player to bag 20 goals in a year. I look at it more. I see when we look back last year, 4, you could throw 5, really. You could throw even Granit Xhaka. I mean, I could probably rattle off 6 players. In fact, I know I could rattle off 6 players. Maybe a 7th, if given more playing time, that are more than capable of scoring 15 a year. Will they? No. Could they? Yes. But the system isn't predicated on relying on one player. That's why Aubameyang under Arteta didn't really work, because he's not playing the roles that Arteta wanted that position to play, the number 9 position. That's why that's why things with Aubameyang just fell off very quickly, I might add. Gabriel Jesus, 15. Bukayo Saka, 10 to 15. Gabriel Martinelli, 10 to 15. Martin Odegaard, 10 to 15. Trossard, give him 5 to 8. Last year was Granit Xhaka chipped in with 6, 7 goals. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but there's that left 8 role. Okay. And let's get someone who has a little bit more finesse in terms of finishing, and Emile Smith-Rowe playing in that role. Kai Havertz, there's another 10 goals from either of those 2 players. I could see them both, if they get enough playing time, bagging 10 to 15 each. So it's all about the group effort and that front 5, really, the 3 across the front, plus Martin Odegaard in behind, and that left 8 filling in. That's where the goals are going to come from, in my opinion. It's not going to be one player. It's going to be a collective effort where you see guys chipping in with 8, 12, 15, or 16 maybe. But the other thing, too, is looking at assists, and I'm a big assist guy. I look at that. I want to see, how many players have the assist. Trossard with 3 in the first half against Fulham is big time. Martin Odegaard, obviously, that's almost more his job than scoring the goals is. But you look at the collective is really where you want to see the collective, bag in goals. I was thinking about this the other day. You figure if you score a goal a game, team-wise, you score a goal a game in the Premier League, it's 38 goals. So what is, I'll pose this question to you guys. What is a successful average of goals per game? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? I mean, 4, I think, is high. You're not going to average 4 goals a game. I don't think anyone has ever done that. But how many goals per game in the Premier League? So 38 games. How many goals do you need to average to say we're I don't even know how many goals as a team we scored this year. I know it was over 50. So we didn't I don't believe we averaged 2 goals a game this year. You figure that's 76. I don't think we scored 76 goals this year. Could be wrong. But I have to say 76 goals is 2 goals a game. So bump that up to really, to think, okay, we average 2.5 goals a game. That's a lot. That's where we're scoring a lot. And that should lend itself to being successful. Just real quick here. Let me scroll back up. And just see if there are any other questions here. I'll get some comments here. Stan, think Havertz mainly will operate as a second striker. Been banging a drum for a while. The 2 up front is making a comeback. Stan, you and I have talked about this a lot in the past, and you and I are in agreement with that. I like that style. I like actually the diamond in midfield with the 2 up front, 1 in behind, sort of as a playmaking, a number 10. Really that playmaker who really drives the attack, and then your 2 wide midfielders linking up, further up the field, but they also have to have some, defensive responsibility as well. And this is obviously the 2 things are not relatable, but when I play FIFA, my Carlisle United squad on FIFA plays basically a 4-4-2 with a midfield diamond. I really like that formation just from my tactical brain. I like that. Bronx Gunner Havertz will be an aerial presence for all those wasted crosses. Yes, he will be. Bulk up a little bit, so you can bang around with some of the big bodies in front of the net there. But yeah, I Havertz Stan operating as a second striker. I'm not sure that he does that. He can. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying that he won't, but I see him here playing more of that left 8 role he's gonna replace Granit Xhaka, and I think he's gonna be an upgrade on Granit Xhaka. So like I said, just go through some comments here. Stan, the money being offered by Juve for Partey is a piss take. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Early doors, players not adjusting to the manager's style. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Sebastian Haller was and Scamacca. They were both players who I thought would really take West Ham to a new level, and they just couldn't kick on. So early doors was asking the chat and Stan specifically, do you think that Partey being sold on, is this to do with the allegations against him? We're not getting into that. I don't know that his name has never been mentioned, so I'm not personally going to go down that road. I wish I would have read that comment before I actually put it up on the screen, but all right, guys. Yeah, that's it. Stan, go get ready for Arsenal Fan Circle. Don't forget, guys, that is 8:40 Eastern time, 8:40 p.m. Eastern time with Stan and the lads over at Arsenal Fan Circle. Be sure you tune in for that. That is all I have here, guys. Remember, take a deep breath, everything with a pinch of salt. And again, que sera, sera. Whatever will be. We are the Arsenal. Don't ever forget that. Up the gun. Good footy chat, guys. We will see you out there.